What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another DIY video. Today's video is gonna be a good one. We're actually working on my 992 Carrera S today, and today's video is actually sponsored by Kies Motorsports. So if you guys have been following the channel or me in general, I guess, then you'll know that Kies Motorsports has been a long-time sponsor. They've provided a lot of parts and have helped me build a lot of cars over the years, and the 992 is no exception. So we're actually going to be installing something on the car today that's going to make the car a little bit louder. No, it's not a full exhaust. At some point we will be doing something of that nature, but I haven't figured out what I want to do with that. But for now, I actually really like the Porsche Sport exhaust. I purposely bought this car knowing that it had the Porsche Sport exhaust. I think it just sounds really nice, it looks nice, and it allows me to utilize more aftermarket parts later on down the line. But Porsche Sport exhaust was one of those things that I wanted on this car when I was looking for my 992 Carrera S. And if you guys weren't aware, there is a button inside of the car that you can actually hit to open and close the valves. Additionally, you can actually have it so that the valves open up on certain modes. So on a sport mode, for example, it actually does open the valve and then it creates burbles and things like that. And then on Sport Plus, it has the valves open but without the burbles. So that's kind of how the car is set up in its current form. But I will say that Porsche, just like BMW, they don't fully allow you to open the valve. So when you hit that valve button, it kind of just opens part of the way. I think the way they do that is just, it kind of modulates depending on your throttle, just to keep, decibels down and things like that, relieving back pressure appropriately and things like that. So what we're going to be doing actually in today's video is installing a valve controller from Kies Motorsports. We're going to be able to open those valves completely open and get the most sound as much as we possibly can out of the Porsche Sport exhaust. So let me show you guys what we got. All right, so once again, sponsored by Kies Motorsports. So if you're looking for parts for your Porsche, your BMW, what have you, they are the place to go. So I'll have a link in the video description below if you are looking to purchase a valve controller for your 992. So again, 992, there are two valves, so it is a dual valved option here. This fits the 2020 Plus 911, not the GT3 model, but you'll see that everything is nicely boxed. We've got an install guide here if we need it. Simple install. We also do have two wireless remotes, which is really nice. Keep one in the car, keep one on a keychain, what have you. And then this is the actual module itself, which, as you guys can see, is not super huge. Nice, small, compact, nice logo there. It already comes pre-taped as well. And additionally, you'll see that we've got everything in here that we need to do this install. We've got a couple of these large zip ties, which I'll show you where those go. And then we have the actual valve controller module here with all of the plugs. So you'll know here, once I take this all apart here, that one side is actually gonna be a little bit longer than the other. And so the longer side is gonna go on the driver's side. The shorter side will go on the passenger side. So a lot of this is going to be wire maintenance and routing the wires. But as you guys can see here, one of them is quite a bit longer than the other. So this one is the long one. This will go on the left side, like I mentioned. And basically I'm going to take you through this install process, but it should be nice and simple to do. So I'm going to take you guys through the install process, but here's everything that's inside the box. All right, so step one, we need to get into the engine compartment here. So what I'm gonna do is pop that little latch. Latch is on the driver's side, obviously. And now we've got access here to our engine bay. Additionally, you'll see that we've got a coolant cap here as well as an oil cap. Go ahead and take both of those off temporarily. Additionally, I do want to mention that you want to do this install while the car is completely off, obviously, but also cold, because we are going to be sticking our hands down here in the engine bay area and by the turbos, and everything is extremely hot. So you just want to be mindful of that. So we're going to pull these caps off temporarily, pull this engine cover off, grab it here on the left-hand side, pull straight up. It's just held in by a series of compression clips. Pull straight up just like that. And here on the back side, you'll see that we've got these two clips, or these three clips here on the top, and then a couple of these little nubs on the bottom that are compression fitted into a couple grommets down there. So go ahead and put that to the side. And then what I'm gonna do is put my caps back on. You don't want anything to fall down in here while you're doing this. So I'm just gonna temporarily put these on. And then what we're gonna do next is remove the fans. So the good thing about this car is it's pretty easy to work on the basic stuff here on the top. Fans, you're gonna have a little grommet here, here, and down here. So I'm gonna just pull straight up right here, this first, and then pull this way. Give it a little tug. This should pop out of the grommets, just like that. And then you can move this to the side, or you can actually take this completely off. Whatever is easier for you, just so it's not flopping around and just so I have better camera angles, I'm gonna take this off. So down here, you'll see this little tab. Take a little screwdriver or use your fingernail here, pull it straight up, it unlocks, and then you squeeze it, and it will remove the actual fan itself. So go ahead and put that to the side, and then we're gonna do the same thing here on the other side. So I've got a light in here. Hopefully you guys can see a little bit better for the passenger side, but same process here. Lift straight up. That releases this grommet here, and then we have two here. Just pull straight back towards the car, towards the trunk of the car here. There we go. And then after you flip the fan over, you'll see the little red tab. Use your fingernail here, release, and then remove the fan. Super simple. All right, so at that point, we basically have access to get all the way down inside of the cavity here. So it's gonna be really hard to see, but if you stick your head down here, you can actually see daylight down there on the bottom on both sides. That's kind of where we're going to be routing the wiring. And just so you guys can see what I'm talking about here, this is gonna be the driver's side. I've got a flashlight down there on the floor, and you'll see that we've got a direct path. And then the same thing on this side, you can see my floor tiles down over here. So we're gonna be routing the longer wire on the left side and the shorter wire on the right side. All right, so what I'm gonna do up here on the top here, I'm gonna go ahead and take my wires, take my long one here and fish it down this cavity, just where I showed you. It's also nice that they provide a little bit of a heat wrap on this wiring just to keep things nice and away from hot areas. So just finagle this down in there. It is easier to put the car up on a ramp or jacks or what have you. I'm on the lift, obviously. Totally not essential, but nice to have. So I'm gonna go ahead and route these down in those little cavities, and I'm gonna leave the module up in this area. So I'm gonna try to get this through here as much as I can from the top, and then I'm gonna move to the bottom and pull it the rest of the way and show you guys what to do from the bottom. Essentially, the other thing I'm gonna do first is actually route some of these wires underneath here from the top as well. So a lot of this is just gonna take a little bit of time just to route things out of the way. That's mostly the most time consuming part, I would say, is kind of the wire maintenance aspect. All right, so got it generally down in that cavity, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys underneath the car. All right, so now I'm underneath the car. This is actually the driver's side. I'm here at the very back. It's gonna be difficult to show you guys, but this is actually the easier of the two to get to. You'll see right here with my pick tool that I'm pointing to the existing valve controller connection. So what you'll need to do is take your pick tool, same thing, there's a little gray locking mechanism that will hold the plug in place. So you can go ahead and pull that up. You can use the pick tool or a fingernail, whatever. I was able to click it open just like that. And then you reach up there and actually grab the plug and unplug it. So it'll be hard for me to show you guys, but try to keep my fingers out of the way here. There we go. So that'll hang just like that. And then this is our Kies wiring harness that we push down here. So we don't need all this slack, but basically what we're gonna do is Since there are 2 plugs on the keys, I'm going to plug the OEM harness into this and plug the keys harness back into that existing valve up there. So, same idea. This will plug in, only goes in one direction, and it should snap into place. And then you can go ahead and put that lock down that keeps it from slipping out. And then we're going to go ahead and take the other side of it and do the exact same thing, plug it back in to its original spot. All right, so I've got both sides plugged in. I went ahead and pushed this back up into the cavity because, again, we are going to be pulling any excess wiring back up through the top. You don't want it to be touching your turbo or anything hot or any moving pieces like belts and things like that, because there is a belt just right over here. So you want to keep that away as much as possible. So just take your time and do a little bit of wire maintenance and keep everything up out of the way as much as possible. So now I'm going to show you guys the passenger side. All right, so this is the passenger side. I've got our keys harness already weaved down through here, so I'm going to move that away for a second. But right here, this is your valve right here, and the plug is up here. So you've got less room to work, but if you take a little pick tool, just like I've got right now, I can go ahead and see if I can get you guys a better angle here. I can try to stick my pick tool up in here and pull that little gray locking mechanism down, just like so. And sometimes you can push on it enough to actually remove. If not, you can try to get your fingers up in there and remove it. Might have to come in a couple different angles. All right, so I had to do it off camera just to be able to completely get my hands underneath there and actually see what was going on, but I obviously have it undone. It's right here, dangling. And same idea, we'll take the keys harness here that we've already fed down through here, go ahead and plug the old harness into the female end of the keys harness, and then we'll take the new male end of the keys harness and plug it back into the valve. So make sure it clicks in and then lock it just like so. And then same thing on this side. We're going to go ahead and plug this back into the existing valve. Make sure it clicks in, lock it into place, and then go ahead and tuck your wires back up in that cavity. Now we're going to move back to the top. Everything down here on the bottom is connected and we are good to go. So we're going to move back into the top and I'll show you what the next steps are. All right, so now we're back here on the top of the engine bay. So what I'm doing is pulling this wire back up through the top. So again, we don't want all this extra slack floating around down there and touching potential belts and moving parts and getting hot down there. So once you've gotten all of your slack back up here on the left-hand side, on the driver's side, what I'm gonna do is actually use one of those zip ties that Kies has provided, zip tie it over here, probably around this area, out of the way. And then I'm going to zip tie wherever I can across this main back part. Obviously not against any moving parts, and the same thing on the passenger side. Just do a little bit of wire maintenance, try to get things out of the way. But first, before I do that, I'm going to show you guys where to mount the actual module. So for mounting the module itself, we actually have this little cavity back in here where nothing is in the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to slide this giant plug off. Let's see here. I believe we just need to push it out, just like so, to release it. And that allows us to get back in this little cavity back here. So I'm going to mount, basically take the tape off the back of this, clean up the area first, and mount it down in this little cavity right there. Just to show you guys another angle here, this is the cavity back here in this corner. So again, all I did was I moved this giant plug out of the way. You just need to push forward and it releases. And that allows me to get back in here, clean up this little slot, and then mount the actual module. And here is how I have it mounted.
So again, just a double-sided tape on the back side, and it's nice and tucked away in there. You could probably tuck it in underneath a little bit more, but I think that is sufficient. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to rattle against anything. And the point is that it's away from any moving parts. So wherever you need to put it, but I think that is a perfect spot. So at this point now we just need to clean up our wiring here, put some zip ties in, and we should be good to go. So I just want to show you guys where I decided to put my zip ties. There really isn't anything great in terms of, locations. So if you've got better ideas, by all means, but just want to show you guys what I did. I've got a zip tie here. So this is my wire for the driver's side. Goes underneath here, out of the way of the fan, obviously. And then down over here, I've got my next zip tie right here. Just one second. It's hard to do this one-handed. Got my next zip tie right here in the center. So there is already some existing wires here, so just zip tied it to that, and it runs down this way and over to the module. And then finally on the passenger side, that wire that comes up from the bottom from the valve controller is looped over here and kind of loops back over here, and I've got a zip tie here holding both of the valve controller wires. So I've got it all bundled there. Nothing should be moving or anything, and everything is out of the way. I can put my fans back in very easily, and we should be good to go. But if you've got other ideas on where to mount wires, by all means, do it however you feel most comfortable. So at this point, the install is complete. We just need to go ahead and reinstall our fans. So fans, engine cover, good to go. And of course, reinstalling the fans is the same as the uninstall. Make sure you plug everything in first. And then it only goes in one direction. Make sure it clicks in. And then you put that little locking mechanism back down. And then you can go ahead and put the back two grommets in first. Push down on the top. This side is good to go. And looks like all the wiring is completely out of the way. So it should be good there. And then same thing with the driver's side. Go ahead and take your wire here, plug it back in, click, lock it down, push back into place. Same thing, everything is completely out of the way. And then finally, we can go ahead and reinstall our engine cover, which again, just kind of falls right into place here. So just start on one side. Oh, make sure you take your caps off, obviously. Otherwise it's not gonna go on. Go ahead and start on one side. To set it in just like so. Start over here. Here, clip in. Super simple. Go ahead and reinstall your two caps, and you're good to go. All right, guys, so the install is complete at this point. I do want to talk about the remote real quickly. So there are two wireless remotes. It's already programmed. If you slide this down, you'll see that we've got a 1 and a 2. Number 1 is going to be valves completely open, and then number 2 is OEM settings. And the reason why they don't offer an option 3, which would be a fully closed, is because of back pressure. You don't want to really mess with that stuff. So you've got the ability to do full open and then OEM settings. So that's kind of nice. Additionally, you can program these to link up with your HomeLink system within PCM. So if you wanted to have it right there and not use the remote and just use the PCM to operate, you can totally do that. Super simple. Kies Motorsports has a really good install video for this. Obviously my camera angles are not the best here and I'm a one-man show. So I do apologize if there are some areas that you had a hard time seeing, but try to get you the best shots as good as I could. But I will also have a link to the Kies Motorsports install video because there's a super thorough, as they always are. And yeah, so product link will be there as well. So yeah, I'll try to do some clips here at the very end to show you guys what the sound is in terms of full open and then OEM settings, full close, that sort of thing. So. yeah, that pretty much wraps up the install. Pretty simple. It just, again, wire maintenance is kind of the most time consuming part of all this. But otherwise, pretty much plug and play. So if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, please let me know in the comments below. Again, huge thanks to the guys over at Kies Motorsports for sending this over to me. I'm super excited. I think this is gonna keep me from purchasing an exhaust for a while. I think the car does sound really, really nice with the Porsche Sport exhaust anyway. So I think having the ability to open the valves completely is going to be really nice. So anyway, stay tuned. Got a lot more content coming for this car as well as the 340. So yeah, appreciate all the support, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.